Every journey begins with the first step. Life is no different. Although we don't think about this too much, in actuality staying alive on Earth is no easy task. Being born and cared for by your parents in your first days is not enough, not by a long shot. You also have to grow up, and that takes time. How much time depends on the environment, the presence of predators, and the attention received from parents. So let's look at a few examples of how different animals make the transition from a newborn to an adult. Hello, and welcome to 7 Facts. Honeybees live in highly complex societies. But in this society, each member knows its job, and all the larvae of the hive are well taken care of. But some receive more attention than others. If the hive is making new queens, the workers construct special cells for these royal larvae. These larvae are fed with large amounts of royal jelly, a special type of secretion containing proteins, vitamins, sugars, and fats. To be clear, this nutritious jelly is being fed to all larvae, but only in small amounts and for a short period of time. But the larvae selected to be queens will have a whole lot more at their disposal. And this type of feeding is actually what triggers the development of a queen, especially the fully developed ovaries. Those who aren't lucky enough to have access to so much nutrients will not be able to fully develop and are sentenced to become workers for the rest of their lives. This might sound cruel and unfair, but it's a tactic used by bees for millions of years, and evidently it does work. On the other hand, elephants have a rather different, kinder approach to this matter. African elephants have the longest gestation and weaning periods out of all the mammals that exist today. They give birth 2 years after fertilization. The calves are then being nursed by the mother and the other young females for another 2 years. During this period though, baby elephants are being fed with nutritious milk and are able to grow. And grow they do, a lot and fast, about 12 kilos every month for the next 6 years. They also have plenty of time to learn the rules and customs of their family and where the best sources of food and water are. But even with so much care and protection, the life of an elephant is not easy. Although they can live up to 70 years, nearly half of all elephants that reach adulthood will die before the age of 15 due to disease, starvation, and predators. And yes, we are their #1 predators. The caterpillar of the large blue butterfly has developed one of the most gruesome ways to survive. Initially, they feed on the seeds and flowers of the plants they hatched on, just like you would expect from any caterpillar. But eventually, they drop to the ground, and this is where things get gruesome. They begin to crawl on the ground and start to secrete a pheromone, one that attracts Myrmica red ants. These ants will be fooled by the smell and mistake the caterpillar for one of their own larvae, and will thus carry it into the nest. Once inside, the caterpillar will mimic the sounds of the ants and continue to secrete pheromones. Otherwise, the ants would rip it apart as they would with any other intruder. Inside the nest, the caterpillar is protected by predators, but in here, it will become the predator and will start to feed on the ants' larvae and eggs. This goes on for about 6 weeks until the caterpillar is ready to form its cocoon and transform into the butterfly. When the butterfly emerges, the ants continue to care for it, carry it out of the nest, and further protect it from predators until it's ready to fly away. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you something. This channel has no sponsors, so if you enjoy the content I make, please consider supporting these videos by becoming a patron. You can check out my Patreon page by clicking here or find the link in the description. Okay, now we can move on to the next fact. Of course, we can't go any further until we talk a bit more about this transformation of a caterpillar into the butterfly. The transformative process it goes through is called metamorphosis. In this process, the animal completely changes its body structure, shape, and behavior. And it's not just butterflies that go through this. Other insects like the dragonfly, but also fishes, amphibians, mollusks, and other species use metamorphosis to reach adulthood. This very complex process is mainly controlled by hormones. In insects, it goes something like this. It all starts with an egg from which a caterpillar or other larva hatches. This is the feeding and growing stage of life. For weeks, they eat as much as they can, including in many cases poisonous plants, the poison of which will be used by the butterfly to protect it from predators. After they gained enough weight, the larvae begin the transformation and enter their pupal stage. At this stage, they are known as a chrysalis. During this stage, with the help of hormones, the cells and organs of the larva completely rearrange themselves. When this stage is over, the adult emerges. This is the reproductive stage. You may think that the newly emerged adult is a completely different species, but it's not. It's the same animal with the same DNA, and evidence suggests that they even retain memories from their previous stages. Without a doubt, this is one of nature's most grandiose and complex spectacles. While in some species you have plenty of time to grow up, others are not so fortunate. Such is the case with the harp seal. Newborn pups benefit from their mother's nursing for only 12 days. Why? The longer you stay on the ice, the more likely you'll be eaten by a polar bear or other predators. So in less than 2 weeks, the snow white seal pup will drink a very fat milk 10 to 12 times a day. During this time, the mother can lose 3 kilograms per day, while the pup gains 2.2 kilograms per day, thus quickly thickening their blubber layer. When the pup reaches about 34 kilograms and sheds its white coat, the mother abruptly turns from nursing to promiscuous mating, leaving the pup behind on the ice. This is a far cry from what we are used to, but then again, we aren't being hunted by bears as soon as we are born. Tsetse flies are a scourge for humans in Africa. They carry many diseases that affect both humans and other animals. So naturally, humans have tried to eradicate them several times but failed. And one of the reasons is the attentive care of the mother towards its infant. Unlike most insects, the tsetse fertilizes only one egg at a time. And unlike other insects, the egg isn't abandoned. It's retained inside the uterus and the offspring develops internally. Inside the uterus, the larva is fed with a milky substance. When it's ready, the larva leaves the uterus, crawls into the ground and transforms into a pupa, beginning the metamorphosis. Even in this stage, the chrysalis relies on the nutrients it received from its mother in the uterus. Thanks to this special care, nearly all tsetse infants survive, thus making them incredibly hard to eradicate. In some cases, in order to ensure the survival of the species, horrible things have to happen. Such is the case with the blue-footed booby bird. Yes, that is its name, get over it. The female typically lays 2 or 3 eggs, but they are laid several days apart, and there's a reason for that. Both parents take turn incubating the eggs and take good care of the chicks, just like other birds. But if push comes to shove, things get murdery. Remember I said the eggs are laid several days apart? Well, this way the chick that hatches first will have a considerable size advantage over its sibling. Normally this doesn't matter, but if there's a shortage of food, the A chick will start to attack its younger sibling to obtain more food. If the situation doesn't improve, the A chick might grab the B chick by the neck and throw it out of the nest, or simply peck it to death. All the while, the parents let this happen. This sounds completely counterintuitive, but this way, at least one of the chicks has a chance of survival. As I said, surviving on Earth is not at all as easy as we tend to believe. I hope this video was interesting enough to have inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. You can leave your comments downstairs, and you can also check out my Patreon page if you want to support me. The link is in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.